gets his Mbessa, this to me is the champion that he started kind of the turnaround on. Coming into T1, there was a lot of pressure on this play.
I really highly prioritize right now as far as the jungle pool is going to find the first skirmish.
Cuz kicking things off, Carrier waiting off to the side, TP already used, flash backwards, the concussive blow stacking, Owner 2, they got him! Manages to lock him down, and that's going to be first blood. They're donating it to BDD.
The roam up!
Dragging his team to finals back in 2021.
As Dom
going in, Hunter's volley not quite enough. Now Carrier is looking to finish the job himself. Slowly but surely the Poppy whittling him down. Dom forced to flash away, but Carrier hungry for blood. A little bit more time, the Q flash forward. Dom with a bit of a sidestep, extra movement speed, trying to make it through the minions. Dom living for an extra moment, avoiding the angle back into the wall. Carrier gets the knockback. The cleanse coming out, 1-for-1 in the bottom lane.
And Dom tries to get Guma, pays for it with his life, but he does get the trade back.
Okay, now they're going to gank bottom lane too. Guma's trying to push the wave in. They're going to punish him.
Flash.
The wraparound. Braum is there. Wukong is there.
Dom on the way down. He won't be there in time. However, Unbreakable Peter looking to mark him up. Concussive blows finally hitting. Auto attack reset more than enough. Guma Yushi falls at the hands of Cuz.
And KT are not letting them
to push the wave in, which also earns them this early dragon. And as we talked about in the setup before
run right now by KT.
T1 recognize they cannot contest the grubs. Prio on the top side still in favor of Perfect. Mid lane relatively even, slightly in favor of the side of T1. Faker hovers into the darkness, threatens maybe a Weaver's wall to the bottom lane, but Peter and Doctam pretty effortlessly holding for now. So difficult to dive this Ash Braum, but Carrier might go for it anyway. Walk forward, Doctam there. Case to stand behind me, wants to come through, but Carrier of course can interrupt. Flashing out instead, then using the W to escape. Just to have a good game is crucial for KT's game plan, as the ulti doesn't connect from Doran. That's crushing. Very likely would have been a sure thing on the initial kill, and now Perfect wants to go for the all-in. Carry on the way up, and Perfect is completely overheated. Buying a bit more time to overheat now as he turns back into the wave. Damage coming in, and the rest of the team has arrived. Spinning right on top of Doran, it is a Cyclone. Carrier running for his life, concussed, taken down. KT dominating game one.
Perfect on his.
They have to be careful at checking for fog of war. They wait to have 3 members strong. They spot Carrier, and they know that is their time to step up. Owner waiting. Guma Yushi on the way in. Arrow connecting. No chance to use the Crescent Guard. It might be too late by the time Owner does it. Realm War behind, and it's BDD right on top of Owner, but Faker is there to cover. Instantly, he's sprinting out to safety as Doctam starts to rain hell onto Owner, but the Xin is too damn tanky. The objective in the sights of KD. Guma, not enough time to charge the arrow. Second, Drake dropping for the entire game.
Herald guaranteed, and what is the counterplay for T1 even? With Doran being pushed off of the top side of the map, there's not much for them to get except for a Scuttle Crab. Bottom side mid wave is not even going to get pushed all the way in.
Doran.
That's 4 people.
Overstaying, concussive blows. The Cyclone immediately comes out as well. Doran can't push a single button. KT merciless on the dive. Doran caught asleep at the wheel. Overconfident T1 trying to fire back for first tower, but it's KT who get it. KT get access first to the objective. Owner, Guma, Faker, Carrier all ready to go. Carrier's ulti, you highlighted it earlier, can be crucial, can deny some of the members of KT access to the pit here, but it's a very slow, drawn-out secure. BDD marking Doran on the flank. Arrow starting to rain. Peter getting chunked out. A flashback from Perfect. T1 chipping away at those resources. Eyes on the equalizer. Redemption now used. Cooldown up just in time. KT is going, but now they want to turn it right back. Instantaneous equalizer. Carrier locked up. Realm War coming in, but denied. Carrier wants to knock Perfect out of the fight, but it might not matter because it's Doran into the back line. Owner stays standing. Cuz take it down. T1 fired back.
No matter the early deficit, T1, they still win the team fight. They still get the dragon, and they're looking for BDD.
On the hunt for BDD, but there's just nowhere for him to go in the blink of an eye. KT's lead. Just the ward.
Doran is getting the top tower at the moment, so that is going to be guaranteed gold here for T1.
And this is the struggle of playing against T1. Their movement around the map is so confident. KT need to be ready to pull the trigger, and they have. Otacon started. A big risk. Doran resetting back to base, likely to finish the second item before he TPs into the fight if needed. Owner in the area. It might come down to just a 50-50, but Faker also has access to the Weaver's wall critically. No flash for Doctam. No flash for Cuz. KT luckily able to reset the objective, but I don't think they're going to get a chance to leave quite yet. T1 know they have an advantage in the fight if it comes down to the 5v5. Flash forward, ulti into the back, immediately thinks he picked off. Peter does his best to heroically disengage. It is not enough to keep Doctam standing. Cuz taken out as well. Doran in the 3v1, completely and totally unfazed. Carrier there to stop any further follow-up. Faker taking down Perfect, and BDD is not enough to stop T1.
And it's the Crook Lord that finds his mark. Duckdom goes down, and T1 turn onto Otacon.
Doran, the addition to this T1 roster, annihilated him.
Hello.
Resetting, resistance is shredded by the Otacon. Carry a ward over the wall, spots out Cuz. T1 know it's a 50-50 now. 5 seconds on Doctem, but he doesn't have access to a TP to make it to the fight any faster. Perfect TP available. BDD finds the angle into Doran. Carry now backing up. 3K on the objective. Getting lower. Steadfast presence gone. Faker on the backside. Cuz wants to try to make it out of this one, but now they're moving into advantage. Take down Guma. No, Guma living. Guma fight to finish him. Looking for a bit more damage, but T1, they find the double for Carrier. They take the Thornbound Otacon, and Perfect. It is too little. It is too late.
Baker teleports in and he saves the team fight. He gets that shot.
Cuz is getting chunked, already took an arrow. Faker's looking to split the fight.
7K. Cuz gonna have a hard time healing back up that chip damage.
Reset.
Does have access to the Sundered Sky. Objective reset now. Eyes on those support cooldowns as well. Carrier's ulti, the Unbreakable for the Braum will be important as T1 already getting mid-prio. Doran fishing for the flank once again. Ready to come over the wall with the public execution. Carrier going into the wall, locking up Cuz. Instantaneous knockup! A flawless combo to keep it going. Duckdown finally escapes, but he just finds himself in a 1v1 versus Doran. Hope fading fast for the side of KT as Carrier is still standing. Perfect and BDD running for the hills. T1 grabbing their second Drake, but Owner not done yet. Knocks Peter out as well.
And Cuz just doesn't get to play the game. Carrier, who we haven't talked about in a bit, had a rough start.
Away.
And it was the resilience of KT that got them the win against Gen G. That game looked dire as well. TP comes in from Faker. Won't have his ult. Zona goes in.
Catch him out. Unbreakable used to kick off the fight. That's the ulti from Gumayushi. Good response coming in from Perfect, but the damage not really enough. Ulti does not connect from Doran. Knockback from Carrier takes BDD out of the equation. And once again, it's Doran on top of Doctem. Concussive blows buy him an additional second. Perfect running. The flick back likely to come through as Faker tries to get the damage down. But now he finds himself in a brief 2v1. Goes golden. Knocked back into the wall. Carrier there right in time as KT are effortlessly dismantled. Doran dropping Perfect as well.
And they're gonna... In the moment that Duckdom's taken out of the fight, Cuz alone can't really do enough AD damage. And guess what? He's been taken out every single time. As being Ash against all these dive threats, T1, even though the very early skirmish didn't go their way, are now marching on KT's base.
Final wave of this Red Bull Baron power play. Brought in the mid lane from Faker. Wall to isolate the tower. They want to break open the space, limit the options for KT. T1 outplaying in the fights, and now that they have a lead, they're not looking to give anything away. 3 minutes on the next Baron, 3 minutes on Soul for T1. As Faker still fishing for the flick back, for the seismic shove. But KT running out of options.
Hopefully for KT, set up one of many defenses that they're going to need to fight their way back into this game.
Perfect, gonna use the equalizer to clear the way, but it will not stop the tier 2 tower from falling. Does give a bit more time to BDD to get a tower back in response. Securing a bounty.
Better get the chance!
Cuz taken out of the equation. 6K getting lower. KT start to flounder. They decide it's not worth it. They decide they don't want it. Instead, they're going to turn their sights to the Drake. Spawning in 4 seconds. T1 already have secured the Baron on the back of a Keeper's Verdict from Carrier. Now they might just look to end it here. Flash forward. Perfect execution. Aptly named as Doctem takes him down. KT now chasing out as well. BDD trying to well more back into the rest of the team. But Carrier once again there to interrupt. Doran unfazed by the magic damage of BDD. It's a double kill coming through. Perfect and Cuz, the last two left standing. But a TP into the base to bring back and seal the deal in game 1. T1. What a performance.
And Perfect running for the hills. I don't think his survival is gonna matter as Doran and Carrier show a masterclass in this game 1. The lane for both, I think, looked a little
competitive game, as we did see with Owner and Mundo early on, and now you're against Faker's Silas.
BDD will be able to maintain his pressure on this lane, but he does have to pay for it heavily.
And the critical part is that T1, they don't overextend the play because Cuz and Peter were on the way there, and now they're looking at Guma.
KT getting aggressive, just knocking down Gumayushi, taking first blood as Peter flawlessly get the initial vision down, so know that they're safe here to take the first Drake of the game. KT with a small gold lead, but T1 balancing it out with this Cloud Drake. Cuz on the top side means no contest to come through, and T1 doing a better job of not giving away too much control in this game too.
Dragons.
And Faker doesn't have his ultimate available, so that might be the reason why T1 is a little bit hesitant. And also this time their skirmishing just isn't quite as strong, right? In the previous game, I think that they had so much power there.
BDD.
Not quite the case here.
Getting aggressive, access to the golden.
Is built around a Sivir Lulu comp here. While there's possibilities elsewhere.
Nice side step from BDD, just barely able to get away. Vault Breaker coming in for Cuz, opts not to flash. The turn back from Owner is solid. Faker now on the way in himself, trying to use the golden clips to keep things going. The Ezreal ulti across the top. BDD grabbing one. Faker will turn it back, but he's under the tower, and it's Cuz to take him down.
And it's the subterfuge.
Finally, a ward is dropped, but it might not matter. Peter with flash available.
There's the ult.
Cuz off to the side. Ulti from Doran's not going to catch anybody, but it might have zoned KT away enough. Doran likely to give his life here, but the Drake already down in favor of T1. On the hunt, popped. Perfect tunneling out to safety. T1 got what they came for.
Here by a Wild Grove. He needs to be very careful about how he picks his fights because, again, T1, there's only 2 big carries, but this early on, the damage is still there as BDD.
BDD potentially caught out, layering into CC a little bit off. BDD unstoppable for a brief moment, ready to use the ulti, but Faker has stolen one away. The goal in the clips, but the follow-up is there from Peter. Makes it a 1-for-1. Vault Breaker coming in. Faker just CC'd for an eternity. The Kingslayer healing not available in time as Cuz is on a killing spree.
The idea was to make the quick play before the Rift Herald fight, but KT, they close the trap, they get 2 back for themselves, and the teleport from Doran does signal they want something.
I need to
Doran
be careful.
here. Tower going to fall. Likely not enough damage to kill Doran, but at least zoning him away as they set their sights on the objective. Herald already started. Cuz will secure it uncontested.
I did get tricked by Peter being Mel there. I'm like, oh, 11, good amount of... No, they don't have damage. The play still works out, though, very nicely for KT. They're get
Arm
Doran's
advantage, holding on to a decent lead of his own, has opted for a bit of healing reduction. Going to make things that much harder for Owner and Faker as the charge comes through.
Last time, this was the point where T1 turned the game. The lead this time is bigger for KT, but I think T1 don't want to let them get this dragon, want to get soul point themselves.
Faker's ulti available. Needs to hijack the ulti of Peter. Chip really starting to hurt onto Doran. Catch over the wall onto Cuz, the most fed member. They're immediately going to delete him, and the rest of KT try to pull the trigger, but they can't quite find the angle. BDD, Dockdown, they've got the range advantage. Peter waiting to peel for them if necessary. Perfect. Spots them in the darkness. The Tremor Sense showing him what he needs to see, but they've stopped moving or have moved out of range. He can't be certain now. The Q from Doran moving in. Peter still gets the ulti. It's a golden eclipse from BDD. A new dawn for KT in game 2, but T1 are unconcerned. Guma, Keria standing, the bot lane. Will it be enough? BDD trying to buy her back, but it's Gomayushi fearlessly advancing, ricocheting, tearing through the dreams of KT.
Guma with the moves at the end.
But this man is a team-fighting demon. The dragon starting to fall. Turn back from Faker as he catches out Dockdom. Cuz there to try and peel, but it is too late. Owner moving in. A cataclysm across the top side. Perfectly canceled. BDD flashing over the wall. Gumayushi still living. Perfect on the chase. Peter wants to fire back. Cuz running for the hills. 2 down on the side of T1. But Guma might be enough. Perfect. Gets the bite. Tears right through him, and now it's Owner picked off as well. KT fighting for their lives. BDD still standing, crucially. The extra damage. Doran set to fall. A double kill for the KT mid laner.
And BDD stands supreme on the mill. Stays alive through it all. And that is going to be the Otacon.
BDD said in the trailer that he was inspired to become a mid laner by Faker's play, and he was inspired to pick Mel in this game by Faker, and he's dominating on the Mel. Clutches it back up, and it's after a huge play from Faker, but BDD is able to use the ultimate to snipe him at the end.
And it's an overplay here. T1 try the force the hand. They waited it in game 1, but they're not actually able to get on top of BDD, who flashes over the pit, and then Peter ensures that Perfect can get on top of Guma, and all the while BDD just stacking up the passive, getting the damage.
More important, 43 seconds. Perfect trying to push in this wave. A lot of damage to finish that tower up, and now knows that he has relative safety. Has to be careful about walking forward towards that brush. And Doran perfectly placed and baited Dockdom. 4-2.
Such a good sell there as well, but KT, they're turning the tables on them.
Quiet.
Start the sneak.
No.
Quiet.
Oh, no. I think they're safe. There you go. They're aware.
Now they spot it, but how quickly are they taking it? It's a Mel with a death cap.
We don't know. Look at where Owner is.
Now ready to turn back. But still, Cuz continues to hit the target. BDD ready to clear the wave. Doran not afraid to walk up. He knows they don't really have the
Doran,
damage to finish the kill.
Doran smells it.
Because 9K, but he is determined to take this objective. The blast shield keeping him relatively healthy. BDD poking off to the side. Gumayushi for now uncontested. Rebuttal already used. 4 seconds till Dogtom is up and available. And he has the TP.
I actually love this stall from KT. They're able to deny the soul point.
Pulling away T1 from that dragon for now.
Didn't have his IE, just now finishes it, and BDD did have his death cap. So fighting just before, really your main Fang, which against Lulu and Cyan, gonna get a ton of value.
And now we get to see
The damage that Sivir is bringing to the table.
everyone holding their breath for the next team fight to see if KT can turn this gold lead.
They know!
Full committing. T1 now turning to Baron. They don't want to risk the contest here. Owner starting the objective. As you get into the fight, keep your eyes on the key carries, Guma and BDD. If either one falls, their team very likely to win the fight. Interrupt there. The Baron not very quick. Chemtech Drake down. Soul point there. Might just come down to the 50-50. Cuz on the way. T1 tried to make the counterplay, but walk away empty-handed.
The poke damage is real. T1 now looking to pounce. Doctum in the river, but he is Ezreal.
Dogtom. Pass over the wall. Peter looking to make a play. Lockdown onto Faker, looking to turn it back. Root is connected as well. Faker's been caught. Buys a brief moment with the Seekers. The rest of T1 retreating. Perfect buying a bit more space, and the tunnel over the wall. It's a heist. He buys the time to take Faker down. Doran with a decimating smash. Peter on the chase. They'll only connect onto one, but it's enough to start the fight in their favor. Gumayushi untouched, but he's now also not able to do any damage. Cuz keeping it going. KT pushing into the jungle of T1, zoning them away from the Baron as they set their sights on that Red Bull Baron power play.
They win the critical fight. They find Faker. They get the advantage, and Perfect is able to escape. Wait a second.
BDD flash. Doran forced to flash back over the wall. Sidestep on the decimating smash. Peter there to cover. Guma can't push for anything else. Doran getting chunked out. That's the ulti to seal it. BDD going godlike. Guma alone in the mid lane. Objective slowly falling. Owner zoned off. Perfect there with the knockup. Needs to lock it down. Owner's not going to have a chance. KT, it takes some time, but they take down the Baron.
In the last game,
Exactly. The root into Vi combination gets his Zonias early. And then here, Perfect at the back. This is one of the best changes they made to
can't just
Rek'Sai.
walk past the Nico because Peter held his ult, and now the Red Bull Baron power play for KT. 8K, 9K gold lead here.
Gold lead. His first competitive game looking damn good. Faker going golden. The second the chains miss, he doesn't want to push for anything else. Ball break over the wall from Cuz ready to go, but he's not going to overextend because the mid lane's already falling. KT taking their sweet time with this one, knowing that T1 have one shot to turn this back in their favor.
It's just Guma. He's just a Sivir trying his best, but KT doesn't give him the opportunity to do any damage.
Perfect continuing to push, has access to the tunnel to escape. He's just been a thorn in the side of this T1 lineup. So many Rek'Sais haven't been able to find this level of performance, but Perfect has been a nightmare for T1 to manage. Waiting now off on the side. Takes out the control ward. A single empowered cannon minion pushing as another wave stands behind KT, ready to keep the siege going.
The siege is unrelenting from KT. The Baron buff still buffing up the cannon. The poke damage still coming through.
Owner faking the engagement, throws down the flag, misses. This choke point. BDD waiting for some of those major cooldowns to be used before he takes a step forward. Mega Blast Cone getting 2 members of T1 over the wall. KT retreating back down to the bottom lane as Cuz starts the objective. Flag there, spots the objective play. Faker on the flank. Perfect not going to give him the angle. KT starting to retreat, starting to get forced backwards. Doran to kick things off. Peter to look for the interrupt. Faker using an ulti of his own to be stolen away. BDD taking out of the fight, but down goes Guma. Cuz making it work, but PD's owned away by Carrier, and all of KT now collapsing on the T1 support. At the end of the day, it is only Owner, and he cannot stop the soul.
KT get the soul, and they want the Nexus too!
Perfect continues to push down. They've learned, they've adapted, they've stayed strong in the face of the game 1 loss. KT firing back against T1, but do they have the power to end the game? Another TP, Dogtum on the way. Doran giving everything to clear the waves. Owner and Carrier here. Surely the Ezreal is enough, but the creeps are falling back. Doran remains standing. T1 are not out of it yet. Dogtum needs more, and he cannot get it.
Guma's up in 10 seconds. The reinforcements from T1 will arrive.
And T1 will cling on to this game.
Doran won't be able to find The blind decimating smash, but the ulti to kick things off. He connects onto the wall. Perfect waiting on the back line. Doctum untouched. BDD untouched. Doran straying way too far forward in a moment of miscommunication. Down goes the top laner of T1. KT start the Baron.
That faceplant means Baron, boys.
It was always going to be a Hail Mary from T1 if they wanted to get back in this game, but that one does not hit the mark. That's Baron, the second one for KT.
We talk about Dominic's KT again in this position where they keep that long-range siege going. BDD not showing on vision yet. The last inhib tower falling down. Inhibitors following after. T1, a last desperate hold here in game 2. If they can turn it back, it takes them to match point, but KT set to even up the series in the 2025 World Finals. Doran isolating Cuz. Peter going forward, finds 3 with the knockup. Perfect there to fall, but Faker turns it right back and knocks down Peter. Doctom, BDD, still standing. Bakuma! He's shredding through everybody! The Sivir finally allowed to take over the fight, but they managed to take him. Faker still alive in the scrappy fight. The extra healing is making all the difference. Doctom doesn't quite have the damage that he needs. KT holding on for dear life. Doctom able to find the kill. Perfect, Cuz, Doctom falls. A final hold for T1. It almost turns in their favor, but Perfect is going to end the game. Guma dies, and so does T1. KT even up the series.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Perfect, reliable as all hell in this game. Locking it in here.
BDD Syndra. Now, this is also, a scaling champion now.
It did feel like KT was able to, again, settle these early gold leads. Cuz maybe doing some poking, but I don't think an actual contest is in the works here.
As long as he has his passive up, he's not too worried. Hex Drake down. BDD waiting in the darkness. Multi-man. The CC layering is there. Doctum on the way in, but he's only level 4. Owner now running for his life. Forced to flash away. Ulti comes out from Faker. He doesn't have a lot of mana left. The Dark Sphere hitting, slowing Faker down. The chase coming through, but they really don't have what they need. Ulti there. His power unleashed. The weak scattered. And first blood for KT.
BDD has an inside route and access to the alligator, though.
That's a Mundo with red buff. Doran.
Yeah, Syndra's coming.
Doran.
He's just dead.
You only have one piece of CC.
Cornered.
Yeah, that doesn't work on him. He's going where he pleases. Doran, I think this might not have been what you wanted. BDD on the way, hoping to get this donated. Doran, I think.
Well, he's stalling.
Barnott might be in the game, but this is certainly a magical journey for Doran as...
Trying for the execute. It's all he can do, but not going to happen.
Well,
Because it's there, and Mundo
that's a hard
to
steal.
be unbothered.
Continuing to do
That's a
decent
lot of
damage.
damage.
Infernal, good damage as well. Lock up there, but Owner going is unstoppable. Peter caught out for a brief moment, immediately going to be forced to ult. That's the Unbreakable. The flash, it doesn't connect. The Q doing absolutely nothing means T1 are able to walk away. A bit of a fumble from Peter, but it doesn't cost KT much yet. Gumayushi standing on the backside, ready to transcend if he needs to. Doctem going all in to try to stop him from getting his fight. Owner on the way in, looking for the reset to keep the fights going. BDD going over, wants to kill Owner, but Owner lives for an extra second. The stun to turn it back. Owner taking over BDD, but the stun does not connect, and Peter's now running. Cuz locked down in the meantime. Perfect is finally here, but it might not matter. Reset on the ulti from Owner means he gets to back away, but the health bars are low across all of T1. KT, this is an insane gamble. Objective, lower and lower, and Cuz is taking unstoppable for Perfect. Gets a bit more space. Carry is still living. Doctum on the way in, and Guma set the fall. Down goes the 80 carry. Doctum on the way out, the TP in. Fish in a barrel, and it's time for KT to start free firing. T1 thought they had the edge, but in the end, it's KT who take the Drake and the play.
Second professional Mundo game.
Yeah, on track, looking good. And I gotta say, Owner, he gets the Kraken Slayer. Uh-oh, Gumayushi has not decided to ult. Doctem might be in trouble here. Knockup does not connect. Peter trying to get a bit more space, and Cuz is on the way in. All of T1 forced to retreat. Maximum dosage popped just to get him in range as BDD then is now collapsing on the side lane. Multiple pieces of CC stun. Initial lockup into Owner is decent. BDD trying to turn back. Sidestep does not work. Owner taking the kill.
One of the hardest
If
parts.
they do opt to contest.
Oh, there's the TP. There's the flank.
TP from behind. Flashing forward. Carry's going to find the knock on the Doctor, but Peter beautifully stopping the initial engage. Doran from behind, though, more than enough to knock down that 80 carry. KT running.
Huge TP flank. What? It turns into more.
Peter, flash out, reset from Owner. Unstoppable for a moment. Owner setting up for the angle, but he's not going to
Just a
overcommit.
good play. Nice flank there from T1, but then Peter stepping forward and Cousin BDD trying to look for a kill on the opposite.
Gets scary, and unlike the Sivir, this is a champion that I think has the mobility, the tools to really start taking over. You can see he's already getting the confidence to just step right up into Doctom's face, even in the face of that Trinity Force.
And Dragon is going to be picked up here by KT. Camtech definitely high value, but you do give up the topside turret. This gold lead for T1 getting larger and larger as Keria not sitting on
Peter,
Smite.
Hex Flash, Pulverize, knocks Keria back over the wall, and here comes Doctom. Down goes Keria. A little bonus kill on top of the Drake, certainly not. Eyes on the scat of the week. QE not going to work. The Cleaver certainly hitting like a truck. Doran very likely to just have to concede this tower. So KT get the Drake, they get a kill. The Redemption now used as well, and it's on Doran to instantly delete this wave. It's working out well so far, but can he keep his life? TP's coming in from the side of T1, but it's just Faker and Guma off to the side. They don't have the tools to keep the fight going. Scatter to clear out the rest of the wave. It'll be a chunk of damage, but the tier 1 will not drop.
Nicely done by KT to parlay that pick into an extra kill.
T1 happy to have the poke chipping away at that health bar.
Oh, they're pincering them.
KT losing control of that Tri-Brush is big. Scatter going wide, also massive. It's a huge cooldown at this point in the game. Perfect over the wall with the Blast Cone. Knocks back Guma. Redemption going down. Cuz holding on to the maximum dosage as long as he can, but it's Faker off to the side. Not too isolated. 5K on the Drake. Getting lower. Eyes on Peter. The Alistair to make the play as Faker tries to zone away. KT, it's Peter in the clutch. Scatter to fall, but the fall of damage is not there. Exhausted is Faker. And Keria tries to turn it back, but he's all by his lonesome. Doran cannot get into the back line. KT managed to find the initial kill. It's perfect to pop off. Guma missing completely. They get the Drake, but it might cost T1 everything.
He flashes into the wall, and that might be the Otacon going over to KT.
Cuz continuing to go where he damn well pleases. T1 forced back. The tier 1 tower starting to fall. Otacon already getting started by the remaining members of T1.
Critical that T1 made split calls here. Look, they don't have Viego
The
damage.
fog of war, whether it's Renekton or Sion, the lesson has been learned as Cuz has been caught out. Initial CC is good. Cuz getting bursted through with the flash over the wall keeps him standing. Peter trying to zone away. Ulti from Guma means they want to keep this fight going. Good scatter, but doesn't quite connect on Gumayushi critically. He's able to just free fire. KT forced backwards, but Faker now half HP.
And Peter, what a psychopath. He went in instead. A lot of damage to come down, and KT, they're looking for the chase.
Cuz connecting the Cleaver, still has access to the maximum dosage, zoning all of T1 away. Faker just barely able to make it out. TP is his. He can get back to this fight if KT try to force the Baron.
Flip it. Faker can TP back in. A lot of cooldowns are gone, though. Look at the ultimates that aren't available for T1.
They have to be careful of moving into the choke, and they know it. Owner trying to approach from another side. The potential for BDD to line up a multi-man scatter for it to end the fight in a blink of an eye is massive, but once again, it's the flank that they're looking for. But it's Doran caught out! BDD unleashing his power. Cuz using the maximum dosage as KT start to push into Gumayushi. He's ultless, he's helpless, there's nothing he can do! Mundo pushing further and further into T1's back line.
KT are doing it! The stun from BDD right onto Renekton as he's trying to go through the wall. BDD stuns him as he dashes, and the reward might be Baron.
There is still the opportunity for steal. Owner's there. He doesn't have his ultimate though. Flash about to come up. If they don't steal this, KT might set up for a soul point as well.
Teleport.
Coming in from BDD, well called. Potential 50-50. The Mundo damage.
Owner.
The auto carrier trying to zone. Peter on the way and wants to knock them out of the fight. The objective getting lower and lower, but off T1! Deleted! In the blink of an eye, KT take everything!
And then they know to start up the Baron, draw T1 to them. The desperate play from T1. They flash in, they try and burst down Doctam, but the peel is there. Doctam does not fall. And KT, they've got Baron, they've got a 4,000 with Doctam, Peter, and Perfect all being subbed out at various different times of the year for them to work back to this point. Inspirational stuff. KT, can they do it?
We saw it in the previous game. T1 was almost able to find their way back. Kuma doesn't have a third on him yet, though. That execution is not quite there. And trying to play a pick comp from behind is known to be an exercise in futility. Look at Perfect, he's not afraid.
T1 have to be careful. A single scatter connects, and it all could fall apart.
Cuz is almost level 16 here.
Seal, slow and steady. as this bot lane inhib certain to fall. You see T1 as well, they're accepting it. Doran maybe trying to trade an inner in top. Cuz just getting a crab for his efforts, as now the free item spikes have been hit for Faker, for Owner, and for Guma.
Peter. KT waiting off to the side. T1 seeing opportunity. Doran continuing to push in the top lane. T1 want to just keep KT around.
Plus this outer tower as well, so a little bit of gold back in their favor, but KT
Found themselves in deficits in a game like this. It was the three of us. JDG looked like they had them on the ropes, and they found the comeback as the TP comes in.
TP from behind, they want to catch out Perfect. Perfect can try and use Doran as an escape route. Keria has to be careful, but Pathmaker already used means that Perfect is in trouble. Q3 back through, using Keria now to escape. Perfect on his way out. It's not the Rek'Sai, but once again, it feels like he's going to escape. All of KT looking to collapse. Eyes on Faker and Doran as Perfect flashes out to safety. That's the ulti used by Guma. KT pulling back, keeping Perfect alive. Doran wants to make the difference. Cuz goes in! T1 making it happen. Guma fails the flash. It stops the fight from going through. Doran getting whittled down. And in the end, it's Cuz again who refuses to drop. Peter with the CC. I cannot believe it. KT holding on as T1 in the end might finally get to the moon. No!
who comes out ahead? The scrap Faker trying to chase down the extra kill, but so is Cuz.
I think the time has worked out better for KT here. Look, the jungler for KT is up because he is unbothered. He's about to secure them. That Chemtech soul.
Doctum finishes off of Doran, but then Faker is able to get the shutdown.
But it's the deficit that they're in that makes that close. In a normal situation, that catch.
T1 can't afford to let this get away from them. Peter just using the Hex Flash as all of T1 start to move in. Double Randuins to slow the approach of T1 if they need. It might come down to the 50-50. Peter trying to spot Owner to force him out of the pit. No smite for either support, even with the spellbook, as T1 getting forced backwards. Maximum dosage still there for Cuz, crucially. Picks up the canister. Guma really starting to hurt, but it's not enough damage.
Sterix is there. T1 taking a little bit too much poke. We'll see if KT actually want to pull the trigger on this or set up a bait. Eventually, T1's going to run out of the resources, but they do know with that ward.
Bot wave pushing in the favor of KT. Crucially, if T1 take a fight and lose, KT will immediately end the game. T1, the pressure point is on them. KT have baited them into the trap. Peter from the darkness, finding Doran, but not the ideal carry as Guma and Faker are still untouched for now. Gravity field to lock them up. Maximum dosage. Cuz getting lower, but still living. The Mundo refusing to die, and Guma Yuchi drops. KT taking it across the finish line. Faker forced back. The bot lane open. The TP there for BDD. KT moving to match point.
The KT Rolster coaster keeps going up and up.
We're still not done. KT about to go up match point in the Telecom War in the world's final.
To attack side lanes, with Nocturne and other people joining.
Make something happen. Might look here. Has his Raptors just now done. Making his way over. Even getting a summoner or getting the egg would be big.
Faker grounded. Cuz on the way in. Good wall to force the disengage, but BDD full committing even though he has no mana. They do manage to get the passive out of Faker. Cuz full committing. Peter on the way. The tongue lash there. They want to give the kill to BDD, but it'll go to Cuz in the end.
And what could be the deciding game, KT, they send all resources again towards mid lane to BDD to make it happen.
But it's Cuz that gets the kill again. Now we saw how that benefited them. As T1 wanting to look for the punish here.
Keria and Guma are powerful. They move in with the heal, a pillar to immediately block them out. The 50-50 goes to Owner. Flash away from the handshake. Caitlyn, Tom Kench. Good lane, mid lane control from Keria and Gumayushi, and now Owner walks his way up top side. Immediate 3 grubs secure.
T1 continuing to stack the objectives that they need in this game. Using Guma and Keria, their priority.
It's really looking like a full commit or bust.
Cuz ready for the 50-50. Faker off to the side. Decent damage onto BDD. Owner going all in. Flashback coming out from Cuz. Wall there as well as BDD just barely able to skirt around the edge. But the objective set up now for the side of T1. Double TPs. KT want to claim it for a bit more. Ulti coming out from the side of Carrier. Drake down. The back line of KT Berserk as they look if they can turn it back. But again, they don't have the tools to keep the fight going unless Peter wants to flash Tongue Lash. But that's all their CC. Perfect fighting off to the side, dragging Faker into the death realm. In the meantime, BDD starting to walk forward. Doran potentially caught out. The forward man! BDD! Showing he can be clutch in the moments that count. Turning it again. KT were losing the fight as they lost the objective. Gumayusi will not be able to make the bailout work. The Drake to T1, the fight to KT.
Oh, Doran's gonna want that one back. The big whiff on the Gragas engage there.
Peter, knock up a bit too far. The thick skin, yeah, it's not gonna save you. Caught up in the hype, caught up in the moment. Faker gonna get one back.
The way that they're gonna apply this pressure to KT and not allow them a lot of extra time in the game.
Early objective stacking going the way of T1. Convincingly
Access to the ulti. TP available. Full commit now going down. Owner turning off the lights. All of KT immediately pulling back. Peter isolated, caught out. Trying to stay standing with the thick skin. Full Abyss will dive away as Faker takes down the top lane tier 1. And again, this is the struggle of the KT composition. It's so hard.
Right there on the Ocean Rift, looking for a big displacement.
Herald summoned in the mid lane. 5v5 at the pit. Flash ulti available for BDD if he wants to try and find it. Perfect isolated off to the side. Hostile takeover stops Peter from going any further. Docdam completely isolated. Cooking the barrel for just a little bit longer, and now the Drake is going to go down. Owner taking it. Docdam isolated. And Perfect trying to force a fight with Faker, but he gets nothing as the wall comes in to interrupt. Flash over the wall. The ulti from BDD. He might get a couple more kills, but again, the objective belongs to KT. Even as T1 begin to fall, Faker and Carry are ready to turn it. But have they overcommitted the wall there, trying to disengage Carrier? Faker running into the pinch, Obliterate connecting for full damage. Cuz on the chase, waiting a few seconds. T1 are collapsing, and in the meantime, waves are being deleted. It's costing KT hundreds of gold just to be here. And if T1 take the fight, it might just cost them the game.
Perfect has
sticking around, ready to get them away. The ulti not stacked up. Perfect going forward just a little bit longer. The death realm to come out. Owner going to respond with an ulti of his own, turning off the lights on this team fight between both lineups. Gumayusi and Perfect in the death realm, and Guma takes those. T1 focusing on the objective. Cleanse used from Carrier. Heal on the way. Faker finding a bit more damage. BDD isolated. Hostile takeover going to connect onto BDD. It won't have much effect as Cuz tries to chase Faker out. But Docdam, he might take Carrier. But it's T1 taking the Otacon. Guma securing the objective.
And there it is.
Poke from T1. A bit tough to deal with. You can see the pierce that lands onto Docdam, taking that chunk of health. Flash in, full committal to the fight. Pillar to isolate Owner, redemption to heal Faker right back up. That's almost every single cooldown burn. It's on BDD to try to turn it back, but it's a split fight. T1 coming from multiple sides, collapsing as Owner moves in on top of Perfect. Dorn has been isolated in the death realm, but he'll manage to make it over. Flashback, absolutely jukes him. And now it's Perfect caught in a 1v1 with Faker right as he comes out. He is stunned, but he won't be taken down. All of T1 in the pit. The spears stacked, smites available.
Faker's gonna teleport back. They're recalling Mordekaiser and the Anivia.
The fight just continues to go. 6K getting lower. Docdam trying to get a bit of poke. Hostile takeover connecting. They don't have a cleanse. Devour from Peter is good, but it might not matter. Cuz continuing to move in. BDD waiting over the wall. The ulti is there, but they don't need to face him yet. The turn on to Faker isn't enough. 3K. Cuz in the pit. At the end of the day, it does not matter because it is Doran to get the soul. KT might be able to get the fight, but there's too many members of T1 standing. Ocean Soul to T1 as everybody on KT falls.
And I am starting to hear some silver scrapes in my Telecom. Ocean Soul is theirs, and KT, we'll see if they can make something happen.
Owner and T1 have secured every single objective this game. Cuz moving in, but zoned away by the storm from the side of the team. Berserk now onto Cuz, has to ulti. Owner using an ulti of his own just to try and disengage. Dorn, meanwhile, in the mid lane, happy to just continue fighting. Perfect going into the back line, looking to get taken down by Faker. He's in the death realm, but Faker's happy with the 1v1. Just in time, he gets out, and Dorn is there to seal the deal on the kill. KT desperate to get anything. They've already lost their top laner. The game rapidly slipping away.
They're trying their best to not let this game go to 5 as Doran still searching.
No flash for BDD, that crucial piece of CC and exhaust there. But Faker just waiting in the darkness. Guma stacking up the spears, the wall to zone KT away. Flash not there for Cuz either. BDD off on the side is going to use the ultimate. W in from Peter does absolutely nothing. T1, they see a vulnerable opponent. They know what they can do as they start to rip them to shreds. KT is in a world final.
The T1 ensure that we are going the distance. We are getting our full value out of this series as KT just cannot close the gap to T1's backline.
The turn off of Baron to grab the kills, and now they will secure the...
Yeah. Looking like a hard road for the side of KT. And now,
but it's good news for us.
When a comeback happens, if KT can make it happen, then it's something to be considered. Maybe a miracle flash, but it will take that miracle. And for KT, it's so important not to lose sight of the bigger picture. This is a game you could afford to lose because of what you won earlier. It might come down to a best of one, but you need to be at your best form for that matchup because this game is looking done and dusted. Owner pushing in the mid lane. KT can't really afford to split as that tower falls. The threat of T1 diving into their backline, a very real threat.
BDD found a big play on his Yone in game 1 against Gen.G to find a miraculous comeback, but this game feels so much more dire. About 35 seconds till we see that Elder come up. I don't even know if T1 really wants to wait for it. With 2 inhibitors, they can just decide to back off. No pressure on them.
Owner waiting, hoping to catch out a member of KT, over eager, knowing how important it is for them to stop the Soul from going down. 20 seconds, a TP into the mid lane. Maybe going to catch out Gumayushi here. But it's perfect. Again, this is the problem. No matter who TP's in, it's so effortless for T1 to just walk away.
Yeah, perfect. Guma is 2 levels up on the top laner.
Cuz caught out, isolated, immediate subjugate to try and stay standing, forced to flash back. BDD in the darkness! 3-man! But it's Doran to try to turn it right back! The ulti is decent, Carry wants to turn it back with the hostile takeover. The gold deficit is just too massive. Even a miracle, even an incredible angle was not enough in the face of this T1 lineup. The triple, the quadra, T1 bringing us to silver scrapes.
Guma lives the engage, and T1's hopes live in the grand finals.
And the Telecom War has never been this insane!
All of this T1 dive looking for you. A game 5 Faker Galio.
Best to both farm as many stacks as possible and keep this Galio lane locked. If Galio isn't able to make impact in sides, especially in the early game, it's going to make it a lot harder for T1 to find places. Oh, look at Owner. He's diverted his pathing. He's looking for top. That's a classic.
Perfect. Needs to back up. Level 3. Getting lower and lower. Last Right's offering a bit of healing. The tactical sweep there from Doran to slow him down. Owner all but certain to make this one come through. First blood for T1. Doran's coming.
So much Fred here in mid.
Yeah, it's a critical breakpoint because Galio lane does really revolve around, do I have jungle pressure to put threat behind when I move up in lane and try and taunt you? And now you don't have that pressure at all.
Q forward, sidestep, the taunt, Faker, turning it back, BDD, one more auto, the 1-for-1!
BDD, no hesitation, must have known that was going to kill him.
Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Doran locked down with the pandas, Cuz on the way up.
Oh, just barely.
With the flail. Doran barely able to walk away.
They didn't want to use the flash, knowing that Doran's still at his. But we are getting explosive here. No slow early game in this game 5.
And BDD, he goes for that dive. You know, he does invest his flash. So that is something critical to look at. Owner is back and ganking again.
Perfect needs to get out. Has the flash available, but Doran just going to immediately flash follow. The adaptive defensive, the hook shot still there. The Q back for a bit of healing, but it's not enough.
Beautifully played. No hesitation. Owner flashes.
Nigh unplayable for KT.
That it does. Especially for BDD, the strongest point on the team currently, even as we see gold leads get bigger for Owner. And Doran cannot let the Camille start to take over. Perfect needs to stem the bleeding. You highlighted it so well. It's one of the few things that we haven't seen from him yet this tournament is now the hookshot wall dive is there. Dom flashing away, but Owner's on the way as well. Ulti there, that's the Hextech ultimatum. Dom likely to escape, but it looks like Peter will be sacrificed in return. The hookshot, making it out, send it play back to the tower, but it might cost Carry his life. It's a 1-for-1, no! The minions!
6 on the Sejuani, so the possibilities of your plays become that much greater. He starts out the grubs with the confidence. BDD does have priority of mid, and it's just going to be the 1 for now.
KT have to be so respectful of the sheer quantity of CC on the side of T1. Also, all of their burst damage so heavily telegraphed makes it very easy for Doran with the ultimate, for Owner with the Aegis Assault, to just mitigate all of that burst and turn a fight right back around.
There's no mercs yet for KT. What I do love is that often in a game 5 in Fearless, we end up with comps that don't have engaged. This is kind of the opposite. Both teams have amazing hard engage. We have Nautilus on one side, with Sejuani to back it up. Then the Camille Galio,
Baker.
Leona combo is
Moving down, that's the combo, locks him in the ultimatum, finds the damage, the taunt is there, and Doran takes another.
Faker
1,000 individual gold lead over Perfect. BDD zoning, poking while he can, dodges out on the tactical sweep, but uses the flap, so needs to be careful for at least a few more seconds.
That's Drake just gone.
Yeah, KT.
Got the first one, not the second one.
The maiden summoned. Doran, though, he's got backup. Owner on the way in, locked once again in the ultimate of Doran, but Perfect living for an extra second. The Q2 coming through just in time. KT want to punish. They're a little bit.
Plus, you're losing bottom side power there with Galio just up at the turret. Faker pushing on that bottom side tower with the power. Yeah, the dream for this KT squad is to be able to poke with your Ziggs as well.
Is it going to cost them? Faker.
Second Drake is big.
Access to the ulti. T1 might just be a little bit late here. Cuz desperately needs to smite. Doesn't quite connect. Crucially, Dr. able to get out for a brief moment. BDD now trying to turn and fire back, but Faker is on the way. Ulti going in. Doran is down. BDD still standing. The exhaust managing to take him a little bit lower, but Gumayushi sits on the back line completely untouched. BDD finally able to start opening up. His owner gets one back in return. Perfect is here to keep his mid laner alive. And there you go. KT find an angle.
T1, but it doesn't look like they want to take the gamble.
Perfect also about to be taunted up, has to be careful. They have so much damage here. Doran can, of course, just reset the tower aggro, but he is locked down for a damn long time. Doran, untouchable for a brief moment, but they managed to kill him. T1 fumble the play in the mid lane, and Perfect redemption as he survives the dive. Mom called, but she will not connect.
The dark procession from Perfect, it got them so much, and now they're opening to get the tower, the extra gold as well. KT, they're striking back.
And it keeps the gold lead within touching distance. It further accelerates BDD. And this game 5 just keeps on delivering. Have to try their best, T1 does, to maintain this momentum, but they're not even close to a break point on the Dragons, as Kuma is just taking matters into his own hands.
Dom, no ulti available, decent poke. Owner Faker here, the TP's used. T1 making the fast play happen. KT caught reeling, too far behind on tempo. Doran might have fallen in the previous play, but he is still damn powerful. Dom here. T1 pushing them back. It'll take a miracle for them to get this one out. Owner, Peter coming in for the lockup, but Owner manages to get the objective, the fight coming out. Fire rained over the wall by Gumayushi, and down goes Peter. BDD finally arrived. That's the ulti coming in the meantime. He needs a little bit more space. Dom, BDD untouched, but the front line has fallen. BDD, CC'd, knocked into the sky, and right back into the grave. T1, get Otacon, and ace KT.
A triple kill
by T1, a team notorious for forcing early objectives. And it all falls apart for KT. The Baron started as expected. KT in dire straits as Faker brings it back. Wants to turn with the taunt. Initial lockup from Keria is good. Dom laying down a bit of poke, and he's going to be able to satchel out, but an immediate flash follow coming in from Owner. T1 don't even need the objective. They're happy to keep pushing for a bit more. On the top side of the fight, they've isolated BDD. He's continuing to fight. He wants to turn it back. He gets the kill on Doran. Crucially, Faker falls. KT hold.
BDD, the heart of KT is alive, the smolder.
Flanks coming in, T1 entire topside missing flash, that crucial cooldown, but their ultis will be there. 3 seconds on Doran. Gumayushi, the other player to keep your eye on as well. The ulti can do a lot of work. Doran going in, doesn't connect, hookshot, wall dive, immediately CC'd. Exhaust coming in as well. Combo over the top from Guma. Finds 2. Exhaust as Keria moves his way to the backline. Faker rains down from the sky, locks up BDD, and obliterates the hope for KT Rolster.
The bullet time will end the time of KT here at Worlds as T1
him down, and that's Dragon. That's actually, they ran straight to Baron. I'm sure they got Dragon with that. They're not wasting it.
That Dragon as well, the leftovers.
Tasty snack for T1. For KT, the item finishes few and far. They're looking to secure their 3rd World Finals win in a row.
They don't want to give BDD the time to get that Infinity Edge. KT don't have the luxury of defensive items either for their key carries. Redemption, really all they have to protect Dom and BDD. Faker solo pushing in the mid lane. The tier 2 will fall. Bot lane inhibitor likely next. This Doran really cannot be contested by anything more than the entire force of KT, as long as their Nexus stands.
And all's on the line. T1, they can smell the weakness. 11k gold now. The Baron siege continues. And they will not be denied unless KT pull out an absolute miracle. I think we're seeing Owner looking for an ult angle, sitting in that jungle, but even with the wave clear of Ziggs and Smolder, it's tough to hold on.
Doran looking to get things kicked off. Hookshot wall dive brings him over. He's taking the tower already. Flash back to get away from Cuz's ultimate. And the ulti manages to connect from Doctom. A big fumble. Not enough to get T1 back, and it could just look to end. So perfect has been called back as T1 looks set to get the soul.
And T1 also have the luxury. They could just look for the fight if they wanted to.
Owner takes the soul. Cuz stuck around a little. But now with the Baron spawning, relatively even setup, but again, it's the waves in favor of T1 that make this so hard, as immediately they're going to kick things off by going in on Cuz, taking away the Frost Armor passive. Lockdown from Carrier is there. TP in from Doran as well. Ulti's going across the board. BDD cut off the side. A good flash to take him out, and Guma has to be careful, but he's so damn fast. Owner to lock up BDD. He goes gold in an extra 2.5 seconds to consider what went wrong as T1 looks set to end it all.
They're going to finish the job. It is Doran and Peter left alone in the mid lane. And T1 will ace them.
T1 earning their legacy again and again and again. There can be no doubting it. 4 players on the Rift today making the impossible possible. Owner, Faker, Guma Yushi, Carrier, and now Doran as well are world champions.
And the disbelief on his face. A teammate that so many have praised.